Man, I keep forgetting which episode it is. 73, this one.
Is it?
Or is it 74?
I thought last one was that.
Oh, so it's 74 now.
74.
Okay.
Fucking big number, that. Also, it's the year anniversary.
Yeah, I know.
Ish.
We missed our year anniversary, didn't we?
Oof.
When was it? When was
it? was in January.
It was like 26th, I think, that it got released. I think
27?
Yeah, it's like 26, 27, 28, somewhere around there.
Should we just celebrate it now? Congrats to us for reaching a year.
It could be worth mentioning that it's been a year since the first pod was released.
This is it, by the way. This is the actual intro. No intro this time. We just started with me questioning what episode it was. So yeah, congrats to us for making it to a year. Wow, what a long way we have come since Meet the Gang. Amazing. Quite a 74 episodes is quite a few to pump out in a year, to be fair. I think we've done quite well.
Yeah. What's the highlight? What's the number one episode?
Statistically speaking, the number one episode is Outlander's review. That was the most watched. That's the most listened to episode.
Is Outlander's 7.20?
I don't think that's a patch. I don't know what 7.20 is.
7.20.
Yeah, I think 7.23.
Oh wait, no. Yeah, 2.3 maybe.
I think 2.3 is Outlanders.
I'm scrolling. Yeah, 2.3. 7.23 is Outlanders plus Void Spirit and Snapfire.
7.20. Marco's been playing a different game. Marco's been playing like a custom map where all these like ability draft heroes. I don't know what my favorite episode is. Probably one of the TI ones. They're the most re-listenable ones. Cause nice reminder of what was going on at TI. The actual episodes are kind of meta-dependent. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
It's a nice little time capsule. Maybe in like 5 years' time, when it's like Dota 4 patch 9.3, we can do a nice time capsule where we re-listen to an episode from now and get to learn about all of the stupid stuff in pubs at the time. Anyway, Marco, how have your games been? We didn't do a how have your games been last time for better. Have you got any good news to present to your hordes of fans?
No. The only game I've played since last time, it's been a bit of a barren Dota week, has been that sniper game me and you shared a day or two ago. That was it was like the ultimate pub fail, low Dota, low quality trash tier Dota. It's not even Dota, it's like, so basically the story, Adam, is we're crushing the game. I'm sniper, we have who's the other core?
What position, sniper?
I was a mid sniper.
I'm a Pos 1 Magnus.
Okay, so yeah, Stan's Pos 1 Magnus. We're both really fat. We've got great heroes. We've got Snapfire, OP hero, Shaker, great lockdown, Abaddon, great.
Yeah.
These are sick heroes. We're ahead. We're winning. Okay, the enemy team has a TA and a PA. They've got BKB timings about to hit. How do you play this game? Do you bash your head against the wall 3 times and lose? Or do you just like take it a bit slow, wait for that pick off, don't overstep your mark, like blah, blah, blah. Dodge the BKB jumps with some 4 staffs. It's kind of basic solution. But obviously in true Dota pub style, it's we lose, throw 2 or 3 team fights and then get thrown, and it's the most heart, like soul destroying loss. Just it's so bad.
It was one of those where it's like you never want the situation to arise in a pub where you win a team fight largely out of luck, because it is pub Dota after all, and they make a massive blunder and feed a hero which leads to a team fight that you win. That's like your peak level of confidence, and you have the option to go high ground at that point. And it's like, yeah, let's go high ground, yeah. Doesn't matter that they've got 10-second BKBs, go on, get yourself up there, Magnus lad, go on, bro. And then you just get absolutely slapped down, and it's GG basically after that. And then you get reverse team wiped with BKB timings. It's like, oh dear, what were we thinking?
It's the most basic like strategy of Dota to get your head around, where it's like, okay, we are 10k gold, 10k XP up. We've got map control. We've got good items and good levels and good spells. Let's go knock on the door because we can win. And it's like, hold on a sec. Just think about they've got this BKB, TA, PA 10 seconds that can just jump on us and we can't stop them just two-shotting us because that's what the heroes do. Let's maybe process that a bit and not just run into death's door, which we did a few times.
Yep. And then Pudge sealed the games. Pudge wins games. Yeah.
To be fair, Pudge kind of had a few game-winning hooks where, again, we're kind of knocking on death's door or pushing kind of, near the enemy's base. Oh, then we get hooked and, now they just get a kill and jump us and we lose and die. And, Pudge wins pubs. Yeah.
Sniper versus PA is always an annoying matchup because when PA gets, it's just kind of really rough. PA mid is one you can actually do against Sniper sometimes. Even though the lane's not great, it's like you scale so well into the hero. Anyway.
The real question is if you build Ags and Sniper or not.
No, and that reminds me that it's changed, and I didn't build it. I didn't know about that change until Stan was in a pub and was confused.
That was a great justice moment, because sometimes I get confused over, or like when me and Marco play, I often say like, how did I die? Like pathing in this game's broken, or like this guy has like 300 damage, and I'll just hear Marco like, yeah, whatever, keep making excuses, scrub. And then this game we're playing against a sniper and I get assassinated and I'm like, oh my god, what? Assassinate? I literally got stunned for 2 seconds by assassinate. And Marco's like, yeah, like pull the other one, like what are you talking about? Of course you didn't. Then he gets stunned. I'm like looking through like Dota Plus death summary. Like I promise you, I'm looking at the death summary now. Like I'll print screen it for you. I got stunned for 2 seconds. Yeah, and then it happens to Marco. I'm like, see, I wasn't lying.
Yeah. So it turns out for the listeners, assassinate with an Aghanims stuns for about 2 seconds
from 3,000 range.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I've played the offline sniper rush Ags, go Veil Ags. Then you just stun a Ember Spirit from 3,000 away, and they're like, "What just happened?" And they die.
Yeah. It's so jarring because you don't see a projectile, you don't see him on your monitor because it's so far away, and then you're stunned.
You gotta look for the debuff.
Yeah, like a god gamer. Yule's just before. Wow.
In other news, Adam's games are kind of our first segment, so maybe I'll get mine out of the way first. Not a lot to report. The only real storyline in my games is that the difference between unranked and ranked at the moment is like a gulf. I'm on like a 8 win streak in unranked, just playing like heroes that I don't play, so Queen of Pain and Timbersaw, I got 2 wins in unranked yesterday evening with those 2 heroes, and anyone that like Marco and Adam will be the first to say my Queen of Pain and my Timbersaw leave a lot to be desired. So the fact that I'm able to win games in unranked highlights the sort of discrepancy in game quality. Because in ranked, like I'll play my actual heroes like Viper or Lina, TA, say, Void Spirit, all these, and it's like difficult games. And I, at the moment, not even managing like 50% or whatever. Although I did play 2 today and got a win and a loss. Win on Lina, loss on Viper. But I want to be able to I want a way to be able to play heroes and practice that is competitive and it's like a good quality game. And unranked just doesn't feel like that at the moment. The games are just too easy. Like I played a Dragon Knight today and won in unranked. The guy I'm laning against is the same level. He's like an Ancient 5, which is like fine, but I feel like he felt like he was an Archon, and yet when I go and ranked, it feels like they're like divine 5s. I don't know. Maybe it's just because they're playing their hero and they're taking it seriously and stuff, but it's kind of annoying a bit because I feel like I can't get a quality game unless I play in ranked, which means that I have to play like a really narrow hero pool. Anyway, that's just my thought in terms of how my games have been going.
Yeah, that's the unavoidable conflict, assuming you don't have hundreds of games played per week. It's so hard to balance. I want to play new and varied heroes, but then inevitably you're going to suffer and play worse and not play as high level because you're just naturally less familiar with them. It is a difficult balance. But, like I say, if you played 100 games in the week, you could tick both boxes, but that's not realistic.
I don't know whether or not my heroes, quote unquote, are even that good. Maybe I could play a Timber and a Queen of Pain in ranked and it would be okay. Or maybe unranked is just considerably easier. I don't know.
I don't think it's considerably easier.
But yeah, yeah, it just feels funny to me because it's like I play these heroes that I never play. I haven't played a Quap in like months. I'm like 12-2. That shouldn't be happening when I play Queen of Pain. I should be like 6-8 or something when I play it. If I played it in ranked, I'm sure I would be. Or like Timbersaw's the same story. Like, how am I able to dominate an unranked game on Timbersaw? The skill level is just a lot higher. Like, it feels like the players are a lot worse. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how the MMR works. I don't know if your unranked MMR is different to your ranked MMR. Do they have separate hidden values or something? I have no idea. Maybe, and I suppose perhaps the most likely option is just coincidence. I've happened to get like 8 really good games in a row or like 9 really good games in a row in unranked.
I think it's fair to say that the general quality will on average be a bit less, a bit volatile, because even if everyone was the same rank and ability, that everyone's going to play a bit looser, a bit less serious, maybe play heroes they're not as well versed on. You should look on the Overwolf thing when you're in there to see what the ranks are like and how they're spread. That could be interesting. But also, you could even go into ranked and it just be like a mentality thing where you start not throwing but choking a bit and getting pressured too much when you're playing a new hero. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah,
probably. When I'm playing a new hero, probably.
Because when you play ranked and you kind of put pressure on yourself and you can play worse because of that. I don't know. I feel like you tilt in ranked, basically. What I'm trying to say. And that
I don't know. Ranked games just feel so much harder. It's like there's so much more to do in ranked than unranked. But anyway, I don't need to go on about it. Because, Adam, you have greener pastures, I hear.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Hey, I just looked at your DotA buff.
Interesting pastures, anyway.
Yeah.
How have your games been?
I've got to one game before Divine 4 3 times now. I win a game, or like I get to 87%. You get 15% per level up, or I guess ranked win. So you need like 7 in a row to get a star. I get to 87%. I proceed to lose the next 2 games. Then I win 2 games. So I'm back to where I started. I need 1 more. Then I lose 2. And now I've won 2 again. So the first game I play today will determine whether or not I finally get Divine 4. But other than that, I've been playing Enchantress and Lich.
Nice.
Very fun. Very fun.
I mean, Ench 5 is pretty fun, to be fair.
It's a ton of fun. And I also have one random Clinks game thrown in. Because I've had multiple games now where someone's been like, I don't play carry. And then they'll like pick something, even though I have Enchantress highlighted. Like this guy picked Jakiro. And I was like, well, I can't do Enchantress 1 position, so what am I going to do? I just picked some random Clinks. Didn't deserve to win that game, but somehow came out ahead.
I see. I know what the key is for your team here. The enemy PA went Battle Fury.
Yeah, that was part of it.
That's a win.
My Jakiro went 1-15 in the game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Just died over and over to a Lich Axe, and it's like, this game is so over. And yeah, I don't know.
Clinks, man, weird hero. There's been discussion on the Discord about Clinks that I haven't really been involved with because I don't really want to think about Clinks. Do you know what I mean?
I think he's quite good, but that's not what this podcast is about. It's about 5 Enchantress.
Indeed, yeah.
And what is the inspiration? Yeah, there we go. The inspiration for it came from good old Secret Puppy at the Leipzig major.
Yeah.
Because Enchantress was pretty popular, 3 and 5. It's a nice flex pick, because it can just like dominate an offlane, but I quite like her as a 5. And then I was like looking through, because Enchantress is one of my favorite heroes, just historically, looking at Puppy's build, and he was getting no points in the Nature's Attendant. So it's like, oh, I gotta investigate this. Like, Enchantress with no heal and since it's even crazier because now you have impetus on Q, so you don't even have untouchable to try and make yourself survivable. It's like, oh, I'm just not going to be survivable, and I'm not going to get the heal. I'm just going to be aggressive. And so
I kind of want to ask a question straight away, but I don't know if this is going too deep to start as a first question. But when I think of Ench pre-patch, back when Untouchable and the impetus was switched, I think of an annoying poking hero in the offlane, or indeed, I suppose, mainly in the offlane, and you get 6, and then impetus with 1 point means that the enemy can't lane anymore. How is impetus different now? Because obviously I presume it's not as stupid as... You're obviously not getting the old level 6 impetus on level 1 now.
It's really strong though.
Right.
You say it's not that good, but you get it from level 1. Yeah, it is a 6-second cooldown, but it's really easy and low mana to throw out, and you're chunking people for maybe 110 a hit because you're getting bonus damage. That's at level 1. I think it pops up at about 60 damage, 64 damage, depending on if they move back or if they walk towards you with your impetus flying through the air. So it's really good harass in the laning stage. At level 1, you're unmatched pretty much for right click.
Right.
As that while it's off cooldown or whatever. And I think level 7 impetus, level 4 impetus, because you don't max impetus. But level 4 impetus is kind of like level 2 impetus before as an ult.
It's exactly the same, I think. It's 20%.
Yeah, it's 20%. So it's like you're getting the level 2 ult. If you max it at level 7, you're getting that way earlier. But I max enchant because it's just so strong. And
so what's your skill build then, up to 6? Just no points.
2-3-1 or 2-3-0-1.
Yeah.
So 2 points in impetus, 3 in enchant, and then at 9 it's 4-4-0-1. You max out the first 2 spells, still no Nature's Attendants, and then a lot of the time at 10. Well, at 10 I get the talent, so you're not skilling Nature's Attendants until 11.
How are you using enchant in the first?
Okay, so level 1, you get impetus because there's no creeps for the first minute for you to take with enchant, and you just want to be trading with your impetus.
What's all this I've been hearing about? I've been hearing lane creeps are OP though. Just take one of those.
Yeah, they are. But not at a level.
No,
the only time I thought about doing it was when I was against a Darkseer. And then I was like, oh, I can just enchant the creep he Ion Shells. And it would purge off Ion Shell. But then it's I'm shoving the wave really hard into him. So you end up just hoping he casts Ion Shell on himself. And then you just enchant that off.
Can I just quickly clear something up in my brain? Yeah. If you did enchant a lane creep, an enemy lane creep, you'd
purge the Ion Shell and then you'd gain control.
And then when it dies, nothing happens. You don't get gold from it, or
no.
Okay,
You don't.
It just dies. It just dies. Okay.
Yeah, it just dies.
And can you enchant one of your? I presume you cannot enchant one of your own creeps.
No.
Okay.
No. So
you can tell I'm an experienced Ench player.
Well, it says affects enemy units and enemy heroes. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think you can target your own stuff.
No.
You can't purge a friendly hero or anything. That'd be too strong.
Yeah.
So I start off with 6 tangos, 2 to the mid, a salve, 3 branches, and 2 mangoes. And the 2 of the branches build into a wand, and then you go tranquil boots because you have good move speed, and that's your heal instead of Nature's Attendants. And then a Glimmer Cape because it's just the best thing a 5 can have to save the team, and then it's kind of flex from there. You can go Force Staff, you can go Vlad's, you can go pipe if your team's not getting it, or the big meme that's actually really good is the spirit vessel, or not the vessel, the what's the word for it? Holy locket, the thing that's not built by anybody. Holy locket, because your wand builds into it, and it pumps your nature's attendance later. But
what about the biggest meme of all?
What's the biggest meme?
Sproink.
Oh, Sproink Ags. I still haven't built that yet.
Yeah, I don't think you should.
Yeah.
Unless maybe if it's like a free game.
It's like basically an old leap. You can Marana leap. You can
Reverse
dodge
leap.
projectiles.
Wait,
Yeah.
you dodge projectiles with it?
Yeah, you can dodge projectiles.
Okay.
And you can
So,
jump backwards.
Yeah. So it's not... I'm glad you can dodge projectiles, because if you couldn't, it actually would maybe be the worst thing ever.
Yeah. But, okay. So the early game, that's how I'm winning these matches, is like you just secure the lane for your carry, and then they just carry you because they have a ton of space. And that's basically built off the back of Enchant. And it's been reworked. It's on the level, I mean, it's better than, you can only have one creep at a time, but it's on the level or better than the Chen Holy Persuasion now. So, I guess first off, Enchant was always super strong as an ability, because it's always been like a really big slow, 55%, and always has lasted like close to 4 seconds. It's always like a 1-point wonder. But now they've made it to where you're giving bonus health to the creep you take over and bonus attack damage. And that's why you want to max it, because at level 7, you're giving the creep 1200 bonus health and 70 bonus attack damage. So they hit really hard.
Every level, the duration goes up 30 seconds as well. So you start at 30 seconds, level 1, but level 4, your enchanted unit is lasting for 120 seconds. So 2 minutes of some mega creep, basically, under your control.
So am I right in thinking that because it's a 30-second duration and a 20-second cooldown, you can perma-keep creeps even at level 1?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but usually what happens is you've enchanted a creep, you're running at them, they try and get away, and then you enchant them, and then they're 55% slowed for anywhere from 3.75 seconds to 6 seconds, and they just can't get away. Meanwhile, you're like, tomato creep is bopping them and like slamming them, or you've stomped them with a centaur, or, insert creep here. Even you steal a range creep. Range creep's going to hit for 120 damage at level 7.
Another stupid question from me. This enchant, it's like a 4-second slow, whatever, 55%. It's not like diffusal or something. It's just a straight 55 for the full duration.
Right.
Right. You don't like speed up.
It's
over
not
the
like
course.
Venomous Gale or...
Yeah.
They're just slowed for that long. You're hitting them with impetus shots. Your creep's hitting them.
Okay.
Your carry's following up. And you're making life hell for the off lane. And then you leave. You go get another creep. You clear another camp. And your carry's getting solo experience the whole time. Because you're not taking up any room from them, and it's not like you're jungling per se. It's like you're getting another creep to come back. You're kind of getting farm no one else would have got, and then you can like rotate back in for another gank.
Yeah, so what I'm blown away by is the farming potential of this new enchant, given 70 damage and infinite HP and lasting for 2 minutes. So in the game, Puppy played Ench against EG Game 5. So at 10 minutes in the game, it's equal gold on both sides. At 12 minutes in the game, 8 minutes in the game, gets his Tranks. 12 minutes in the game, he's got a Glimmer Cape. So maybe some kills or towers help that, but a 12-minute Glimmer on a POS 5 is insane. And then I remember watching that game, and Puppy would just park a range creep in the trees in the off lane, at the enemy's tier 2 off lane, park in the trees, bring it out to just shove the wave down, and then just go hide it again, and just constantly have a wave pushed in, and he's getting the gold from it. it seemed really strong. And how do you deal with that? An EG hero's got to go somehow deal with this super creep in the trees across the map. Like, it's crazy how much work it did. That was what really impressed me the most by this spell. I'd never appreciated it, obviously, because when am I reading Ench's patch notes? Never. Seeing Puppy.
Yeah, it's new as well. It's
723.
So you can always just pick up a range creep as you're pushing. You don't even have to micro it. I mean, you could, if you're good, you can do that and like get the last hits on the creep wave, but it's just going to shove in really hard because it's like it's on par with a super creep. I think like 120 damage, and the archers attack faster too. That's like your like low case scenario, right? That's a creep you can always get. Then you can scale up to jungle creeps. You can get Centaur. You can get the Satyr with the Mind Blast, with the Hadouken. Or like the big ones are the Centaur Stomp and the Troll Summoner, the net creep, and that just makes you the gank king. It's really great. I mean, like, I made a bristleback, like it was a lifestealer Enchantress lane. That doesn't seem very strong. But you kill a bristleback 3 times in lane because he thinks he's fine, and then all of a sudden he gets purged and he can't move, and then you enchant is pure damage, so you're like hitting him for way more than he expects, and he just dies over and over, and then you've secured the lane. Later in the game he builds Crimson Guard, and you enchant him and you purge off Crimson Guard, and then he just dies. And then also with like a Darkseer thinks he can get away, he surges, and then you immediately purge off Surge, and he's just stuck there. Or they wait because they know you're going to purge it, so they wait for you to cast it, and then they're going to press Surge, but you never do that. You just hit them a bunch, and then he dies without ever pressing Surge.
Are you just
like screwed?
Are you just straight up maxing Enchant then? So
yeah.
your third point's in Enchant. When's the best kill potential time, or does it not really matter? It's not like a specific level where you're like, oh, I've got level 2.
I'm killing people at level 2. Level 2 through level 7.
Yeah.
Like I think I sent the stats to our group. To this point I had played 7 games, and I was 20, 10, and 16 in the laning stage. That's like from minute 0 to 12. So I was like averaging 3 kills, 1.5 deaths, and like 2.5 assists.
Yeah, that's
so
wild.
Which isn't really a bloody period for the game usually, especially when you think, what does an Enchantress do? That's what everyone thinks. It's like, what does an Enchantress do? And then you look at the lane combos. It's like Anti-Mage Enchantress, Lifestealer Enchantress, like Jug Enchantress, Jug Enchantress is a classic, like Lone Druid Enchantress. You're like, okay, what does that actually do? And it's like, that might have been the best one. You just kill over and over, can't run away from a bear and an enchant slow. It's just like, I don't think they're really respecting what the hero can do.
Have you come across any downfalls to the hero, or like negative aspects to it? And if you have, are they all post laning stage? Like, is this hero, would you say, the best laning stage support at the moment?
I would say probably Lich is.
Lich is better. Is the Q spam?
Well, I think Lich is way easier to execute.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Even like my micro isn't even the best, but like somehow, I've been able to make it work. If you can control 2 units, which I should be able to do because I played StarCraft, sometimes it gets kind of wonky though. But there's a lot of outplay potential with Enchantress, especially with like body blocking with your creep, or just casting the spells from the creep. Using the creep that's like super tanky to tank the tower while you dive, all that type of stuff. Whereas Lich is like, I press Q, my hero's going on them, I press armor. Like, that is super strong, and I think it probably is stronger in a vacuum, although Enchantress can purge off the ice armor, so that is another thing to think about.
How valuable is untouchable as a spell for support Enchantress?
I get it, because at level 6,
Right.
like 100 attack speed, so because you don't have attendance, you're really focused, like,
Right.
really focusing on or needing your magic wand and your tranquil boots to keep you healthy. So that's the untouchable is pretty strong, and it's just like, I don't know, five heroes that are like super hard to kill, super annoying, low on the totem pole target for focusing. Like, those are always so fun to play. I always love it. It's like, yeah, you blew a lot of spells on me, but I'm a 5 Enchantress. Like, what is the point? What, like, you cast all this stuff, and you have no attack speed, and I just run away, because she is pretty fast.
Plus the magic resist talent 15%, plus if you go glimmer or even a casual hood for another 10 or 15%. You, as supports go, you're one of the beefiest and hardest to kill from a physical
you have
magic perspective.
Low health pool, but then like high regen, high escape potential, and then the healing. So it's like, and you always like build bracers or something if you want to make yourself a little bit more tanky. Puppy would go the move speed talent, so I've been doing that a little bit because I've been focusing on the glimmer cape to give me magic resist. But I think definitely times when the magic resist talent is necessary, certain lineups.
And then wrapping up Ench in true fashion, talent tree. You mentioned the 10 choice, 20 movement speed versus 15% magic resist. Are the others no-brain decisions, or are they game dependent?
They're more no-brain for like off lane.
Right.
Because you always go 50 damage as an offlaner at 15. But I'm going +8 wisps on your Nature's Attendance.
Nice.
And it's really fun from that perspective, because you just heal so much. It's so underrated. I posted that thing on the
that's insane.
On the Discord, where I was level 6, like I had level 16. So I think it was level 18, but like once you have fully maxed out your attendance at 16, and then you have the wisp talents, and I also had a Holy Locket, I was able to tank a full Wyvern Curse against an LC that had a bunch of damage, and a Lena with level 3 Fiery Souls just pepping me.
Yeah.
I was healing for about 300, a little over 300 per tick of attendance. And
such a funny clip.
Yeah, there's 18 wisps at that point. So it's crazy. And then at level 20, I get the +80 untouchable slow. So you're like 260 attack speed slow, so no one has any like need of hitting you unless they pop rage or BKB.
Yeah.
And then at 25, you get the Nature's Attendance heal +25 for the super healing.
You're not convinced by Ancients, enchanting Ancients?
I could see how, if you want to end the game, you could get a
Black Dragon or whatever.
Whatever the craggy creep is, the rock golem.
Right.
Because that gives bonus health percentage to everyone. It's a good way of breaking the base. And if you want to go damage, you can always go 50 damage at 15, and then +8% impetus at 25. I mean, that's always a thing. But I think it's a little worse now, because before you were getting that 8% impetus on top of your level 3 when it was an ult, so it actually did more damage. Now, I think this 25 talent is just putting you back at parity with where your level 3 was before. And it's like the 5 shouldn't really be doing too much damage anyways. Like she's doing a lot of damage for A5 because she's got this pure damage auto attack that's really strong. But she doesn't need extra damage on top of that.
Yeah, I think damage talents and supports are really value at level 10, because when you hit level 10 at minute, even if it's minute 20, well, terrible, but say it's even 20, you've got that damage talent to help you shove creeps quicker. That's the biggest reason it's helpful, so that you're not spending 30 seconds longer in the lane to get the creep wave dead. But for Enchantress, and so on that point, that's why I think level 15 damage talents for supports aren't as impactful, because obviously more of the game has passed and you'll naturally be fatter at level 15. But for Enchantress, when she's got that enchant spell given plus 70 damage, basically, you don't really need that damage at 15. You've already got enough from enchant, I feel, to do your farming and pushing creep waves.
Yeah, I agree.
And they'll say at 25, if you have the plus 25 heal per wisp talent and the Holy Locket, which amps your attendance by 35%, and the level 15 talent plus 8 wisps, you're healing 923 per tick for a total of 10,157 health total. So
you can probably survive like a Witch Doctor ult just on you or something.
With Maledict.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
I mean, you can just camp the fountain as a Enchantress. You can just tank a fountain. And your untouchable doesn't work on the fountain. You have no evasion. You're just getting hit over and over, and you're just healing up over... It might be like 3/4 of your health bar. Maybe half your health bar at that point, but they tick so fast. It's so much health. It's like pop that, run in a fight, hug somebody that's really low. Build support items, build Lotus Orb, build Glimmer, Force Staff, just save people, and then have your creeps do the work. I've yet to. I mean, the dream is to level 1 enchant the Harpy Stormcrafter and just spam somebody down. I have not been able to do that yet because I'm just too enamored with the hard camp creeps. Because Chen can't do that anymore. He can't take hard camp creeps, and like Doom can't devour hard camp creeps, but Enchantress gets it from level 1. Like you just take the biggest creep you can find, and then people are like, "Oh my god, I'm level 1. Why is this centaur like hitting me?" Like it's really hard for the heroes to deal with. And then one last thing on like a higher level thing that's very underrated, and like what's so great about Enchantress is that the enemy offlane cannot side pull on you. They cannot side pull against you because you enchant the big creep every time. You just interrupt it. They're like, "Oh, I'm going to side pull," and like, actually, I'm going to take that tormentor, or I'm going to take the satyr from you. I'm going to Hadouken you, and then it's just going to be hitting you a bunch, and I'm just going to drag the wave back to my carry like it should have been. Because there's a lot of times where I'm a lich, it's like, oh man, they're pulling my wave. Like I haven't been thinking about it, or haven't put vision up there. It's like, that sucks. They've reset the wave, but Enchantress is kind of already playing from the side like that, and she already is taking the creep anyways. So, like one of the big recourses the enemy offlane has to try and like claw back into the lane, they just can't do because you've taken it from them already.
Nice, yeah, that's a good tip. Also, Enchantress, one of the coolest immortal items. The Rainbow Impetus. I like that one.
Yeah.
And that one comes out at level 1 now, so that's always a bonus.
And she's got the level, like the Dota Plus set, the 75k.
Yeah. Have you got that one?
One of the few. Yeah, I got that one.
Ah, nice. Easy.
I'm only wearing the chest piece, though, because you got to have the Rainbow Impetus, which I think is from the Spear. And then she's also got like a rainbow headdress too, which is another immortal, which I think makes your wisps different. So,
okay,
yeah, I really only bought it for one piece, but it's like this guy Enchantresses. That's what I wanted to say when I load in.
Well, Enchantress, 50% win rate, 10% pick rate at Divine Plus. Hard to read into how much of that is support and how much is offlane. You'd imagine most of it is offlane. But yeah, I'm intrigued because this is always a fun one to have in the pool. It's kind of like a specialist hero almost if you can play 5 Ench. It sounds like it's quite accessible. So, sounds good to me.
I think much more accessible now. Because it was like X Nova was playing support Enchantress at the last 2 TIs. Yeah. And that didn't have this really good enchant. Like that was just using it to, the gank and like a new age Chin. Like it's always kind of been a 5, 3 or a 5, but yeah, now it's like even better as a 5 because the creep becomes really strong for the stage of the game. That's why you enchant it, because you have like a 1200 attack or 1200 health centaur that's hitting for 120 at minute 10. It's untenable, really. That's you just take the towers.
This makes me think. So my final comment would be: do you remember the Lizard? I say clip, but game where he played Ench and just ran around ganking, and was like 10-0 in 8 minutes, and I think forced an abandon from the enemy team or something. It was quite a few years ago during Lizard's streaming days when he was kind of this popular indie streamer before getting picked up into talent. Really, I don't know why I remember it, but I feel like it was really famous at the time. He was like just crushed the game on his stream as Ench. Probably kind of funny as well. Old school Ench running around with his neutral creeps ganking like a Chen would, but could be worth a little YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that, Adam.
No. But you can even def towers. They put you TP in, they try and run away, and then you enchant. You always get one to kill. And then I say the most fun I've had is being against a Rubik because he stole enchant. So like I would have a creep, he would take it, I'd take it back, type of thing. He tried to stomp with a centaur, but I enchanted it during the cast point, so then it became mine again, and it stopped the stomp on one of my carries. It was like, yay, big brain play.
Well, I tell you what sounds a bit like neutral creep.
Neutral items.
Only joking, I mean drums. So, tier 4 neutral items. I'm not saying our bar is very high this time. We're not tier 5. We won't even get there. Not least of which because Marco doesn't know what the tier 5 items are. I don't think barely keeping track of the tier 4 items. But we have Witless Shaco, Timeless Relic, Spell Prism, Prince's Knife, Flicker, Ninja Gear, Illusionist Cape, Havoc Hammer, Magic Lamp, The Leveler, and Minotaur Horn. First one is Witless Shaco. I feel like this just makes me think of Pudge. I don't know why, but plus 1,000 max health increase, minus 400 max mana. How good is this item, do we think? Marco, how do you feel about Witless Shaco as an item?
Let me get it up.
All right.
Well, I'll say I like it. I've carried it on Enchantress, even now as when it was... now that you only have one slot. Like, I've used it as my one slot before. Because how do they kill... You're not that mana intensive as an Enchantress. And one of your big drawbacks is you don't have a ton of health. But you're compensating that with a lot of heal and then the minus attack speed. But what do you do when you have like 2,900 health on an Enchantress all of a sudden? So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm a big fan, honestly. I feel like it's only... position 3 strength heroes that would not want to carry this because they need mana pool. But I feel like any 4 or 5 would happily carry it because 400 mana is not going to be an issue for a 4 or 5 position. And that 1,000 health is real significant, like Adam says. Here's 40% more HP or 50% more HP. I mean, yeah, it's pretty
good. Would you, to put it into perspective, how much does a hero, say like Lina, if you're playing like a mid-Lina, if you're starting a fight with full mana, like you've got such a huge mana pool, you can use like a Yule's full combo and you'll still have 400 left.
Yeah.
Presumably I still wouldn't want to have Witless Shaco though, just because you want to like unload everything you have.
Yeah, but I would say a mid-Lina doesn't want Witless Shaco because they want other items more.
Yeah.
So it's more what you're trading off to have it in your backpack. Whereas a pos 4 or 5... they don't need these fancy offensive items. They just need to be defensive and to tank and to survive.
It's not. Remember, it's only a choice between the other neutral items. Now there's a slot.
Yeah,
but yeah.
And then I mean, like on a Slardar, this is great because Slardar also doesn't use a lot of mana, and then he's got the passive built in for the bash. So you just need to be really tanky, and that's what this does.
Yeah, I mean, even a 3, I would err on.
I'd say some threes it's okay on.
Some 3 is okay on. Yeah, I do just think, okay, what does this item give? HP. Who in the late game? Because we're at the late game, 40+ minutes.
Yeah.
It should only be the 4 and 5 that prioritize survivability at the top of their list. If you're a 3-2-1, it's rare that your game will be won because you've got that bit more
Right.
HP. Like, it's
Well,
more
this is at 40 minutes.
yeah.
Right? This is when this drops. So yeah.
Like, you win the game from your offensive plays if you're the 1, 2, or 3, and it's the 4 or 5 that wants to survive, get the spells off, not get blown up, whatever.
I've seen it on the Pudge. It's kind of a meme. Like, honestly, I'd rather him have 400 mana because they're usually already really tanky. The 1,000 is just like an extra overkill.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Pudge can throw like one hook and dismember, and then he's out of mana if you take away 400.
Yeah, if you think about it, like a percentage increase to a hero's health pool, you know, that's when you're going to technically be getting the best value out of it. And then on these int supports that have low HP pool, that's when it as a percentage is most effective, sort of thing. You know, it could give a 30% increase or something versus like a Pudge where it's just giving him 6k rather than 5k. You know, it's like, okay.
Yeah, and also when we don't often speak about the late game, but so these points might not be at the forefront of everyone's mind, but when you're in the late game, vast majority of cases, the most important targets for you to go on are the supports. The late game fights will be won by control and by disable. Rarely is it the case that it's like, okay, our win condition is we blow up the enemy core, because how are you going to do that when you have a BKB Satanic? That's not the way you win a fight. Fights in the late game don't last 2 seconds. It's really about that disable and control that the supports will provide with spells over a long period of time. Hence, your win objective is you kill the supports, then you win by killing the cores. Hence, you give them 1,000 HP, and your win chance is going to get bumped up a decent amount.
1,000 HP lets them glimmer or force staff away, or try and survive that initial burst.
Wait,
for sure.
Are you telling me you don't initiate on the 5k HP bristleback? Because
you do if you have an Enchantress on your team that can purge.
That's news to me and the other 4k scrubbers.
I mean, yeah, listen to TrueSight. It's like when they were playing against the Pugna Jerak, and they win. OG win the game because he's got Decrepify. Kill the fucking Pugna. Yeah, supports means so much in the late game.
Timeless Relic, plus 25% debuff duration, plus 15% spell damage. This is quite a fun item.
Are we not going to tier list these? We're not going to say...
can I make a point about the tier list? It's pretty relevant. Have you seen... don't want to be like degen, but I was on the front page of Reddit Dota 2 like 10 minutes ago. Mid-pod, excuse me. And there was a post tiering the pro teams, and its tier system was tier... Was it A? Wait, let me get our Dota 2 up.
I'm here.
Tier A, 1, 2, 3. It is literally the system I've always been banging on about, but I just use S instead of A. And it's front page Dota 2 Reddit content. Proof that my system of tier S followed by 1, 2, 3 is not retarded.
No, I don't like A, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I don't like A.
S, 1, 2, 3 makes more sense.
Come over to my side. Anyway.
No, I can't.
Do you not like?
I still like tier 1, 2, 3, 4, but
it's so confusing with these neutral items because they're already in numbered tiers.
Yeah, that's true.
So it just makes it confusing to me. Like, this is a tier 1, tier 4 item. I'm like, what? Don't know what that means. Do you know what I mean? It's like weird.
Well, I guess I would say I think Witless Shaco is above average. That's a way of saying
We'll do Marco's. We'll give him his moment in the limelight because there is a post on Reddit that...
Okay, well, I would say it's tier 1. Okay. Not S tier, but it's pretty good. Like,
Marco?
It will take up your 1 neutral item slot on a hero. Since you only get to have 5 as a team now. I think it is good enough to be one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have thought so, yeah. There's always going to be a hero it's good on, I would have thought, always in a game.
Yeah.
1,000 HP is huge. Like, that's a lot of HP right there.
Yeah, every game, the position 5 hero is going to benefit massively from that tier 4 item.
It's technically 4k worth of HP. Vitality boost is 250 for a K. No, that's kind of crazy. When you think about it like that, it's crazy.
And also, this item, relative to the others, so when you've got, say, the debuff duration, or you've got some kind of magic resist, or you've got these more specific mechanics that in certain games will work really strongly, or illusionist cape, if on the right hero, can be really strong.
Yeah, this is just like health.
Yeah, every game is going to consistently provide a lot of value. You don't have to be, it's never game specific. So I think for that reason, the consistency reason, it would get into tier 1 for me.
Yeah. Okay, Timeless Relic then. Already talked about it, the debuff duration and spell damage. Kind of a funky one.
This is a Rubik item.
Yeah, this is like a situational item.
Get it on Doom.
Debuff duration, that encapsulates everything, does it? So is Lion's Hex lasting longer? Okay.
Yeah.
So is this like literally which hero has the most disable?
Or like if you have a Zeus.
Right.
You know, which he's still kind of, I mean, it does boost the lightning bolt stun a little bit, but it's the 15 spell amp.
I don't think you need to worry about it on Zeus because every game there's a Zeus spell prism's dropping anyway. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But this is more supporty. I mean, like, I guess a lifesteal or open wounds would last a lot longer. I think the Doom is a good shout. Like, dooming someone for an extra, what was that, probably 5 to 6 seconds? Maybe a little less. That's really strong. This on a Tide Hunter or something.
So, if you're playing Pugner and you decrep an enemy, that's going to last longer.
Yeah.
If you're Pugner and you decrep an ally, that doesn't last longer because when it's on an ally, it's considered a buff rather than a debuff.
Probably.
That's one
I
for
would,
the
I would think
test.
it would work like that.
Yeah, debuff. I would think you're still applying a debuff to your ally, is what I'm going to go with.
This would make
I think it's a good Pugner item.
Astral Imprisonment. Astral would last a lot longer.
Yes, definitely.
You could mess up your team's combos.
Yeah. I mean, is there a lot to say about this one, really? I mean, it's...
I don't think it's that great. I think, honestly, I can only think of Doom's ult and being particularly good. I know all these like stuns and hexes will last a bit longer, but meh.
I think it's tier 1. I think tier 4 as a whole has some really big stinkers that can drop for your team.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's okay. So, what tier did you guys give it? Did you say tier 2?
I'm saying 1.
I'll say tier 2.
1. Okay.
If there's a 1.5, I'll throw it.
It's difficult because it's situational, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd probably maybe I'd give it. Maybe 1, just big given on some of the other ones. I think some of the other ones are really bad.
I think it's more
1.
situational, which is why I'd put it in a 2.
Right. The Pugner news is in, and indeed it only increases the duration of decrep on enemies. On allies, it's unaffected.
Nice.
I guess that's because it's a buff when it's on an ally.
That's so weird.
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah. Spell Prism, plus 12 all attributes, plus 4 mana regen, and reduces the cooldown of all spells and items by 20%.
S.
Yeah, I think this one's... I think Spell Prism's a sick item, honestly.
Why does this have a ultimate orb stapled on it?
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Yeah, 12 all attributes is high. For sure. It's better than an ultimate orb.
Yeah, you take it happily without that plus 12 all attributes.
Yeah.
And 4 mana regen is a lot as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a decent chunk of mana regen. That's nothing to scoff about.
This is your spellcaster or teamfight ultimate holder. Like, this would be great on a Faceless Void.
Yeah, I mean, like any hero, literally.
But it's like the first thing you think about is Zeus or,
Enigma.
Lena or something like that. But then you get into this would be great on Tide Hunter or Enigma. And then you're like, oh, this would be great on an anti-mage or like the Blink heroes. It gets really, really strong.
Imagine
on
Furion
anybody
with this plus Furion's talent.
That should be a permanent sprout for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your ancient can never die.
There's only one hero I can think of that it's bad on.
Bad?
Yeah. There's only one hero that I think is really bad on.
I do not know.
I'm struggling here. Struggling for the meme.
Oh, where is he? I can't.
Alright, so
whatever.
he.
It's Tinker, but what I was going to do is I was going to do a voice line, but I couldn't find it. So luckily the listeners don't have to hear me like do
Pew, pew, pew,
one
pew,
of
pew.
his. Yeah, that was genius or something. But yeah, it's Tinker because
He refreshes anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. This item's just like a great item, and in a normal team comp, are you just putting it on? Do you think there's a distinct advantage? Say you have a POS 1 Void and you have a mid Lena, a POS 3 Pugner or something. Like, I'm just trying to like lay it out. Or do you put it on your POS 5 Lion? Or like your Ogre or something?
The Void's probably going to find something else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would have thought so as well.
But there's certain heroes like it's just made for, like Zeus. But I think there are other, maybe if all the ones you drop are pretty bad, like it is amazing on a carry. Still, it's just that usually they go for the damagey or the stat ones, which this one still gives 36 stats for some reason.
I do think if you're a carry hero without a big teamfight ultimate that defines your hero, then it's kind of bad. Like you're not putting it on like Naga, Morph, like. Don't really care.
Yeah.
Ursa doesn't care. TB.
Well, Naga, you would get extra illusions, so you might.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're getting the illusionist cape for Naga, so.
Yeah.
I think the Lena versus Pugna, say you're Lena mid, Pugna 3, which one do you give it to is an interesting one. I think you would give it to the Pugna in that case. I think Pugna spells in a team fight are more important late game rather than Lena just being more damage output. And also items, I think Pugna would have more castable, impactful items than the Lena. The Lena might have a Hex, but aside from that, it's likely Pugna's got utility items, which you then get.
Not my
Pugna,
mate. Dagon 5.
Yeah. Little griefer.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's a sick Pugna item in general. I just imagine this on Pugna being amazing. 4 mana regen. I know Lena likes mana regen too, but Pugna, I feel like likes it even more because the mana pool's so crazy high. And you don't naturally build BOTs as much on Pugna, whereas you do on Lena.
That's just like, this lets you cast so many more spells, but then it also gives you the mana regen to be able to cast all the spells. Very strong.
Yeah. S tier then? I think I'll put it S tier based on... I think it's the best one out of the bunch here. Maybe Illusionist Cape is also excellent as well. I do really like Illusionist Cape. And Ninja Gear is another good one.
Ninja Gear. We'll get there. I think...
Yeah, we'll get there.
To me, if it only reduced spells by 20%, it's tier 1. Because it reduces spells and items by 20%, it makes it tier S.
Yeah, cooldown reduction is like the best talent you can take in the game on any hero, So stapled on an item allows for some really unintended combos, kind of like things get balanced by their cooldowns. If you just reduce it, very strong.
Yeah, for sure. Prince's Knife is an interesting one. Plus 60% attack projectile speed, and on a 12-second cooldown, your next attack will hex the enemy unit for 1.5 seconds. This I find this one hard to play. So I personally would say it's probably, I don't know, tier 1? Tier 2, maybe?
I think the effect is really strong. I think it's almost better on a melee hero. Because if you're hitting someone from a long way away, and then it hits them and they turn into a frog for 1.5 seconds, by the time you close, they have been force staffed or glimmered out or able to walk away. But if you blink and hit somebody and hex them, really, really strong on a melee hero.
How good is this attack's projectile speed, do we think?
So I was going to say, does this projectile speed matter at all outside of that first hit? Because your attack speed is going to be the same, right? So it doesn't affect DPS. It means, okay, maybe you can disjoint less attacks because the projectile's coming at you faster. But in terms of output of damage,
it does increase your DPS.
It does?
Yeah, because your first attack gets there quicker. So you've done more damage in the first 5 seconds. But not...
Wait, the first 0.05 seconds?
Well, your first attack, you will have done as much damage normally as 2, but like you say, your attack speed doesn't change. Say you've got a moon shard, it's going to increase your damage kind of negligibly, if that's even a word, because it just means that the damage arrives 60% faster for your first attack. And then
for the first attack of, say, 10 or 20, like, it arrives 0.5 seconds faster, perhaps.
If you're attacking 20 times, you're going to deal the amount of... No, well, the difference is, if you attack 19 times, you do the damage of 20, kind of. So that in of itself is like nothing.
Yeah, okay, so I see this projectile speed. It doesn't add your damage to anything. It is just all about... It means that first right-click of the hex is harder to disjoint or dodge.
Yes, basically,
because it's coming at you
fast. It is nice to, like, you know, see Alina with it attacking really fast. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's nice on OD. It can be nice on OD because sometimes 1.5 on OD is like... I think it's a good OD item.
Yeah.
Because OD is a hero that, like...
Initiates.
1.5 hex is, like, all you need to just crush a hero sometimes.
Yeah, it could work on those initiator heroes like an OD blinks in and just right-clicks someone, they get hex, pound, another Cypher Vice follows. It could work in that case. I don't think it's that reliable and consistently high value. So it's like bordering 2 for me, honestly.
Yeah, I think 2. I wouldn't object to it going in tier 2.
Just a bit too inconsistent.
I think when it first came out of it, like when it first came, all these items came out, like it seemed insane. But in practice, it's much.
Because even if you think about worse. Starting a fight, if you start a fight with, say, your Lina or OD in any situation that's not you being the only one there to start the disable and lockdown, realistically, you're going to start hitting someone who's been controlled or disabled by someone else on your team, in which circumstance the hex value is 0 because the enemy's already disabled. So it's only in those really specific scenarios where you're the sole initiator that value is derived. Yeah. So it's a bit too inconsistent.
It's 3 or it's 33% as long as normal Cypher Vice. Albeit the cooldown is more or less half. But I think tier 2, like we said.
Yeah.
And Marco's point about initiation is really good. Oftentimes, it's just going to be wasted. Unless you are that first point, in which case, sure, sometimes it can work, and even then it's still disjointable. It's not an instant cast point like Cypher Vice, even if the projectile speed is faster. So yeah, that's Prince's Knife. Also recently nerfed. I think the hex used to be a bit longer before this most recent patch.
Yeah. Same with the Mindbreaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mindbreaker used to be a 4-second silence. It's now 1.5. 4 seconds.
Yeah.
That's a bit obnoxious.
That's absolutely obscene, yeah.
This is one of those things where, like, you'll be juking in the trees, and you'll have, like, I've been against people chasing, and I have auto attack on, and then you make visual contact with them, they hit you, you get hexed or silenced, and then they get away. It's just one of those random bits. It's kind of good in those situations.
Flicker, plus 40 movement speed, and then on a 5-second cooldown, so very low, dispels debuffs and blinks you in a random spot within 600 range, does not get disabled on incoming damage. Kind of a memey item, really, Flicker.
I've never personally used it once.
Same.
I have used it. I think people hate this item. People think this item's awful. So I would mount somewhat of a defense and say that in the times I have used it, and also just conceptually, I don't think it's as trash as people make out. Obviously, you get blinked in a random direction, and so at best, it can get you killed. Even when, like, you say you're being chased, there's a debuff on you, you're slowed or whatever, you need to get out. Sometimes you press it, you just blink towards the enemies anyway, and you die. But it does genuinely give you a free, undispellable... Like, there's nothing you can do against it. If you're not stunned, you can use this item, and it will debuff... It will purge off a route or a slow or anything, and it will blink you in a random direction. Sometimes that's going to be up a cliff. Sometimes that's going to be into trees. So it can be really good value. And especially in a late-game situation where buybacks come into play and just heroes being alive, it's obviously way more important than, say, 15 minutes into a game. So I actually don't think this item is as bad as the rap that it gets. I think it's... So, for example, if you've got, I don't know, quickening charm or telescope or enchanted quiver or maybe even spider legs, maybe even orb of destruction and you're like a pos 3, even a pos 4 or something, because your other carries have taken other tier 4 items. If a flicker drops, I think it's definitely worth having. I think I'd rather have a flicker than say, like those items that I previously mentioned. Sometimes I'd rather have a flicker if it's important that I survive.
One chance or that one time where the flicker active of Dispel and Get Away saves you, it's instantly infinite more value than that casual mediocre stats of the tier 3 item or that Orb of Destruction or a bit of minus armor tier 3 item, because it can be life saving, that therefore could be game changing, so it's always got that potential to be really strong. On the whole, like you've mentioned, it's unreliable, not always going to be useful because sometimes you won't be able to use it. But say in the right games with roots, perhaps, like say slows, and you could get value out of it.
You can, there's just play potential. It's like, imagine you have a 4-star, if you run to a cliff and then use it to go up the cliff where they can't follow you. It's the same deal with Flicker. If you walk towards a tree line and just press Flicker, there's a 50% chance you'll blink into the trees, right? Because you're either going to go in front of you or behind you. Everywhere in front of you is trees. So there's like a good chance you're going to get away. It's the same with a cliff. Walk towards a cliff and then press it. There's a 50% chance, or like whatever, 40% chance you go up the cliff. And, so you can kind of get a bit creative with it.
The fact it's 5 seconds is quite fun.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think the effect is inherently like broken. Just because what you guys are saying, sometimes, yes, it kills you. Maybe you're going to die anyways. Other times, it completely saves you. And I think it's the randomness that's bad about it, I guess, that I don't like about it. Also, that it debuffs you and that you can't, it's like not blocked by incoming damage. I think you can just blink even though you're being damaged. Kind of just like breaks some of like the tenets that the game is built on. So it's kind of weird, and not that it's a 5-second cooldown. And then also it gives 30 movement speed. I don't even know if we said
40,
that.
40, yeah, two windlaces.
Oh, it gives 40 now?
Yeah, up to 40 now. Yeah,
Liquipedia is not updated. Damn.
Oh, they haven't updated 7.24.
Yeah, so that's a ton of move speed. I will say, I saw a video today, which you can't even do this anymore because it's been changed to only one neutral item, but it was a Dazzle. There's so many Dazzle clips because he already has bad Juju, and then he had Quickening Charm and Spell Prism, and then a Flicker, and you just can spam Flicker, and you just freak out and like go all over the map and drain your whole mana pool, and it's really funny, but it's probably best you can't stack neutrals anymore.
I was just in demo trying out Flicker on free spells. It is pretty fun to spam Flicker. It's quite cool.
Yeah. Also, like we said, it as a purge, or whatever the name for it now is. It's a dispel.
Dispel, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. It's a dispel. So, I don't know, because I haven't got a lot of experience with this item, haven't seen it a ton, but I'd imagine there's arguments to be made to have it on heroes that just can't be silenced. Like, I'm sure you can find better ways of solving this problem on, say, a Lifestealer. You can build, like, a Manta or something, and then you can get, say, the Leveler or Havoc Hammer or whatever instead of this Flicker. But, like, in theory, if heroes don't want to be silenced and they don't care a ton about their, being able to cast their spells is more important than their position in a 600 radius around them, I could see arguments for just being an instant purge, because there's nothing they can do about it. Damage doesn't disable it. It's on a 5-second cooldown. It's quite strong. I'm not recommending using this on Lifestealer. I'm just saying, like, there's value to be had because of the Dispel. Ninja Gear. This is another move speed item. This is 30 rather than 40, but it gives 20 agility too, and it also casts Smoke of Deceit on yourself every 45 seconds. Smokes are pretty good, right? And this gives you a free one every 45 seconds.
Yeah, I love this. I honestly love the smoke active. And then movement speed as well. Meaning, if you're, so say you're the +1 with this, your mobility is near, it's like a global boost of travel, because you can just get across the map so fast, and the ability to do that, even like BOTs BOT to one lane and be able to get back to the other side of the map in about 20 seconds because of this item. In the late game, I think that matters so much because the late game is so much about how well your creeps shove, to how well is your positioning on the map. I really, really like this item. And then 20 Agi on the side, because it's typically going to be picked by a POS 1. I mean, you can have these Bat Riders or these ganky mids get it as well, just because the movement speed and smoke's so good. But as a POS 1 player, I do like that 20 Agi as nice little bonus.
Yeah, and this self-cast Smoke of Deceit, presumably, given that it only casts on you, you're not like, oh, wow, I'm smoked, like, let's go for a gank. It's more just like move speed.
Well, yeah, mobility across the map, but also you could be pushing or you could be with your team and your team be visible, but from smoke you could be hidden from sight because they're not close enough to break yet, and that can give you that advantage, that information over the enemy team that lets you get the initiation you want or lets you not be jumped even though your allies could be in sight. So positioning in like micro sense can be really strong from this spell. And then there's also the macro play of being able to just be more mobile. So I really do like it.
Yeah. S tier or A tier for you?
Tier 1.
Tier 1. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Tier 1.
I think
Adam, any thoughts on Ninja Gear or roughly in line?
That seems about right. It's like good on Void, I would say. Like smoke for your chrono setups, but then also 20 Agi, very strong.
Definitely.
And then usually it seems like this goes on a OD as well. I've seen a lot of ODs with Ninja Gear.
Interesting. Why OD? Just to stay out of vision?
Yeah, to be safe. I know no one had it at the major. It was just like, so he wasn't the one gone on. And then 20 attack speed is a non-negligible amount of attack speed. So for a hero like OD. But I think it's really great on like Bat Rider.
Yeah, any hero with initiation that is critical, not being in vision is like going to be a huge advantage, especially say daytime. Yeah. When you're going to see them before, classic smoke stuff, you see them before the smoke breaks.
Ooh. If Ninja Gear drops in a pro game, it's like, this is going to look broken. Like something's about to happen and looks broken.
Yeah.
This, it's not a bug, but inconsistency, perhaps. So I just thought, cast Smoke of Deceit on yourself. But Smoke of Deceit is the item. And if you hover over Smoke of Deceit, the active cast spell is Disguise. So you're casting Disguise on yourself, right?
Yeah. So that's incorrect. Casting Smoke of Deceit on yourself would imply that everyone and your allies gets the effect.
But Smoke of Deceit is an item. You don't cast. Oh wait, actually, you do cast an item. Oh no, okay, you're right. Yes, casting Smoke of Deceit would be like you cast Smoke of Deceit on everyone.
You're not even casting Disguise because if it was use Disguise active on yourself, it would still Disguise reads that it does it to all allied player controlled units.
Yes.
So yes,
maybe they are right then.
I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? I think everyone knows what they're on about. It's not like some of the tooltips out there that are just completely awful.
I've been the right in this case. I take it back. Sorry, Valve. Okay.
I take it back.
That's the last time Marco ever rolled something good on like the Crystal Maiden spins for TI or something. Yeah. Illusionist Cape then, another carry item I would have thought. 14 agility, 14 strength. Create an image under your control. That's on a 30-second cooldown. Increases outgoing damage of all units and illusions controlled by the hero by 10%. So, and image duration 30, image damage 50, image damage taken 150. I'll start by saying I love this item. I think it's a really, really good item, and what I think can be so broken good about it is the reveal. Like the Illusionist Cape reveal. The enemies don't know what neutralizers you have. You use it on, I don't know, say you pick it up on like whatever, any hero, an anti-mage, like a void or a void, doesn't matter what the hero is. You walk your anti-mage into their jungle, or maybe anti-mage is a bad example because you're likely going to have man style anyway. You use it on your lifestealer or something, you walk it into the jungle, there's an illusion that's like tankier than an illusion rune walking into the jungle. Like, it gets chrono. Like, I've seen it been initiated on so many times to the detriment of the team trying to attack into this illusionist cape side. And that aspect alone makes it a great item for me, because it can be so game winning just from the bait potential. And it's so hard to play around. I don't think 150% is enough to make it instantly discernible, like just from a random right click. I know it should be, but I've just seen it in games where there's like, because it's constant uptime, right? It's 30-second cooldown on this create illusion, and the image lasts for 30 seconds. So you're constantly dealing with two lifesteal illusions. They both running up to the high ground at the same time. You can only go on one of them, and it's hard to instantly discern which one is the real one unless you've got some long range, easily spammable spell like a Dragon Slave or something. So I think it's a great item.
Yeah, I think it is just objectively a very strong illusion. So for reference, Terrorblade and Naga, their illusions take 320% damage or 350% damage for Naga, I believe. So that's like way more. You can also think of it as this 150% is like, say you're a 3k Terrorblade, you've now got an illusion with effectively 2k HP, like 2/3 of your HP.
Yeah.
That is meaty, and like you say, it's not necessarily discernible straight away, but it just is a meaty illusion to have on a carry in the late game, and then dealing 50% damage. That's your damage output's going up 50% basically if this illusion's not dying, and it's not necessarily easy to kill it. So if you think about objectives, also massive just output bonus, and then obviously in fights, if you can get your illusion off hitting, massive damage output in fights as well. So it is
lanes, like classic illusion stuff.
Yeah, that is true as well.
You'd back a 50% damage lifestealer with 2/3 HP versus a lot of pos 5s. 40 minutes into a game. So, and for another reference, Manta style illusions take 400% damage. This takes 150. So yeah, very, very tanky. And not to be dismissed, 14 agility, 14 strength. That's really nice on a lot of agi carries.
Also, and it buffs your illusions. Your illusions already deal damage, and that's a Naga level 10 talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that passive actually is crazy on the right hero. Also, it's constant uptime, 30-second cooldown, 30-second duration.
It's so obnoxious.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
It shoves waves. That's what I hate about it. It just shoves
true
waves so
power.
hard.
Shoves waves and duets. Shoves power.
Yeah, power in your face, bro.
Yeah. I don't just immediately in my mind as this ninja gear. For some reason in my head, I just like Illusionist Cape more, maybe because I've seen it been black holed in one of my games.
Yeah.
So like in my mind, it's just insane. I'm tempted to say S tier on Illusionist Cape. It's just so good. I really like the item.
Yeah, the fact you can have constant uptime where the enemy is uncertain if that's you or not. Because even when you're killing creep waves, you probably can't tell you probably can tell it's half less. But
a lot of carries have like Maelstrom. It's such a common item. So it's just like mailing down a creep wave. I know what you mean. Like if you really concentrate, you can tell.
But it could be easy to think, the
in the heat
creep
of a
wave's
game,
melting, so it must be the hero, because the illusion will probably melt a creep wave. And then the fact that you've got to be on your toes for that for the rest of the game, because it's got constant uptime. So whenever you see that hero with it, you've got to be like, all right, is this the right one or not? And any time you fuck up is major value gained. Yeah, that to me is high tier 1.
Also, it's just hard to deal with. Like, it's not as simple as some Manta style illusion pushing. It's like, there's this Illusionist Cape lifestealer pushing bot illusion. We know it's an illusion. What are we going to do? Like, we've got to send 2 heroes. Or Witch Doctor can't do anything. Do you know what I mean? It's just so strong, and like you say, constant uptime. So yeah. Try and blast through these other ones, because I think we have some somewhat underwhelming ones now.
Yeah, now we finally got the bad ones. So if you said everything is tier 1 or S tier.
Havoc Hammer, 30 damage, 18 strength, active havoc, knocks back enemies in 300 range around you, slowing them by 50% for 3 seconds, and dealing 225 plus 1 times your strength as magical damage. Right. Havoc Hammer. Adam?
I have never used it, and I've never seen it used. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I can't say I've ever been like, oh, I got knocked back by this Havoc Hammer. It's just, yeah. I have no frame of reference for how strong, but like, I don't want it to drop.
I've seen it used on a puck with Dream Coil, and it didn't work.
Oh, okay. So not enough of a knockback.
No. Marco, any thoughts on this one? I mean, it's kind of bad.
Yeah, 40 minutes
I think
in the game.
The worst one.
That knockback active is never going to be value. You're going to be dead if you're needing to use Havoc. 5 minutes in the game, if you could do this and knock back the enemy and they get slowed, really cool value. But 40 minutes in the game, if an enemy is on you, you're probably dead. So what's the point? And then offensively, the offensive value is you slow them for 3 seconds and do a bit of magic damage. But again, there's not in the late game. That's really not value to slow and do a bit of magic damage in terms of what tier 4 items could give you.
Yeah, just to put it into perspective, so Monkey King's attack range, that is longer than Havoc Hammer. So if you're Monkey King attacking someone and you press Havoc Hammer, nothing happens because they're too far away from you, even in melee range on Monkey King.
So that means his attack range is more than 300?
You must do, yeah. I'm in demo mode now, attacking and my spawned axe and pressing Havoc Hammer and nothing happens.
Wow.
So, yeah. He does have an obscenely long attack range, as we all know, though. Obviously, axe, when he attacks Monkey King and Monkey uses it, he's getting knocked back. Not that much, though. It's really... The knockback is underwhelming. What I would say about this item is it has natural anti-synergy. So, if you want to use this active in any kind of offensive manner, you're going to want to be a melee hero, because you need to be right next to them for it to have any effect. But if you're a melee hero, you don't want to knock them away from you. It's like, it's anti-synergy. Those two things are like, melee heroes don't want to knock heroes away from them. So it's just bad.
The only way I see it value is, say, this 3 that is getting in the mix, like a pudge, and you blink ahead of someone and knock them back into your team. Kind of play.
Yeah. I know what you mean. It's just like, it's difficult, isn't it?
And very contrived.
I don't know about this damage thing. I mean, it slows them for 50%, so that is good, I suppose. Maybe you could make the argument that, yes, you're knocking them away from you, but actually, because of the 3-second slow, it's better than them staying right on top of you. Sure, yeah. And if you're a melee hero that has Havoc Hammer, you probably want to use it, right? Just because, sure, you have to move to walk towards them to attack, but they're still getting a chunk of damage and being slowed for 3 seconds. 40 minutes into a game, though, what uses are slow oftentimes. There's so many purges and BKBs and stuff. It's just a poor item in general.
It's nice to shove creep, but again, 40 minutes into the game, your pos 3 strength hero probably doesn't need help shoving creep. 30 damage, 18 strength is nice. Obviously, you're going to get value from the tier 4, but it's just relatively shit.
Yeah, I agree. I personally feel this is the worst one, so I guess I have to say tier 3, if that's the lowest we're doing. Tier S, 1, 2, 3, I would say tier 3.
I'd put it in the 3 as well.
Adam?
I agree. I think it's the worst one.
Okay, nice. We're all in agreement then. 3 more to go. Magic Lamp. 400 health and passive rejuvenate. So on a 75-second cooldown, when the wearer's health falls below 20%, they will receive a hard dispel and be healed for 300 health. Have any experience with this one, Adam?
Has it always had a cooldown?
Yeah.
I could have sworn I've like seen this proccing multiple times over. Like someone heals above it, the threshold, you chase, and they get knocked below it again, and it happens again.
Maybe they used Ex Machina.
It seems a lot worse now that I know it has this cooldown on it.
It
seems fine. I mean, I think it's underrated. I've seen people really hate on it, and it's like kind of like an Abaddon ult, a mini one, you know? Like
it's
that
like
hard
on disc, isn't it? Kind of.
Yeah, mini
yeah,
A
it's
on
like
disc.
strong dispel is really it's in the name. It's strong. Like this gets you out of a stun. You know what I mean? Like it's really good. Not a lot of stuff does that. So
and that gets you out the disable that then, or even if they didn't have disable, but just gives you 300 HP, gives you the time to get that Force Staff off, or that Yule's off, or that stun off to then save yourself. So it is pretty effective and is like a mini Aeon / Abba ult, which I think would be pretty good value for your 4 or 5. So it's not. I don't think it's terrible at all.
If you're a 4 or 5, would you rather have this magic lamp? Because it's just survivability. Would you rather have this magic lamp, or would you rather have flicker? Because I think 400 health versus 40 movement speed. Probably rather 40 movement speed. Late game,
I think
40 minutes into the game, like if you're getting jumped on, I feel like 400 health isn't. Oftentimes
like
you're dead either way. You know what I mean?
Inactive component's better on the flicker, right? 40 movement speed. But then I think the active is better on the magic lamp.
Yeah. 75 second cooldown is long. But yeah, the active is probably better. Hard to spell. It doesn't actually make you that. Like, sure, you get to 20%. If they're going on you, hard dispel and 300 health. Maybe that hard dispel lets you get off like a 4-staff and a glimmer. Maybe
you could get a spell off.
Probably,
to stop them killing you. I do think most often you'll get strong value out of the rejuvenate proccing. Whereas, say, Flicker, you have no idea. Well, I mean, in the right game, Flicker's great value if they've got loads of slows and roots, perhaps. But again, I think that's uncommon. So I think the Magic Lamp active is just that bit more reliable to add value. Yeah,
I agree, I think. Leveler, then, 50 attack speed and bonus building damage 25%. Not a lot to read into this one, really. I mean,
it's kind of like...
Do you have any nuanced opinions on this item?
I mean, it's like the bear, like the Lone Druid bear, kind of having extra building damage. 50 attack speed is really nice, but then, I mean, it's a Moon Shard. Or, sorry, a Hyper Stone.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's like, just underwhelming. If you're sieging, it's great, but I feel like I've never seen it drop when you're actually sieging. You know?
Yeah. It's underwhelming. If you compare it, you're thinking obviously it's attack speed, so it's a core item. Just compared to Ninja Gear and Illusionist Cape.
Yeah.
You'd so much rather have them on your Agi core. The only heroes I can really think of that maybe you could make an argument that this one's up there with Illusionist Cape and Ninja Gear is heroes that just crave attack speed, like Tiny Core or OD. Even then, you probably, if you're playing well, can make better use out of Smoke of Deceit or the Illusion thing.
I had it on a mid-mag and it was kind of good, but...
Yeah, mag, that's another one, I could see that. It's another attack speed, a hero that loves attack speed, doesn't naturally want to buy it because they have other items they want. So I could see that. Yeah, I mean, it's not a lot going on there. It's a 50 attack speed. It's okay. Tier list for this one? Tier 2?
If we have to have multiples in Tier 3, I would put this one in Tier 3. I don't think it's as bad as Havoc Hammer, but it's...
Where did Magic Lamp go, by the way? Was that Tier 2?
I don't think we said... I think it's Tier 2.
Yeah, I say Tier 2 for that as well. Okay. Yeah. So, Marco, Leveler, Tier 2 or Tier 3?
I'd say 2. I think Leveler... I think that Havoc one being in Tier 3 is... I think it is kind of bad and you feel bad to see it. I think the Leveler... It's not... I don't feel as bad if that was to show up, so I'd put it in Tier 2.
Okay. Finally, then, Minotaur Horn. 20 strength and spell immunity for 1.75 seconds.
This one's so funny.
On a 40 second cooldown.
It sounds like it's going to be sick, but then I feel like when you play with it in game and then you use it and you're BKB'd for less than 2 seconds, you then just go, oh, actually, this was shit, and I got no value from it.
Yeah. Oh, that is my experience with this item as well. I never want it. I never want this item.
I honestly feel like it sounds insane, but the 20 strength's cool. 400 HP, yay. but I think it's literally. I feel like that spell immunity for that short time is really hard to get use out of.
Yeah. Like can you think of a situation when it's good? Like I can't.
When you have double BKB, that's when it's good.
Yeah. The only situation when this is good is when you're disabled but you're not stunned. So you get rooted or you get silence, and then it may as well just be like a basic dispel. May as well be like a Greaves active, and there's something to be said about that because that is decent, but it's not as good as oh my god, it's a mini BKB. It's like
you can't jump into a fight and be like I've got Minotaur Horse so I can man up. It's like no, nothing. It's like you say, it is just a dispel. Sorry.
Yeah. Any heroes that's particularly good on any roles that we think? Just strength
3.
Heroes?
Yeah, Centaur, Slardar.
It needs to be on a strength hero because the active's just not good enough on its own.
Yeah, I agree.
500 or 400 health. 400 health, 20 damage.
It's
non. I mean, it's not negligible.
Say there was an enemy silencer and you had a hero that you really needed to deal with a global silence. That scenario is pretty cool. So it
doesn't purge, does it?
Yeah. If you
I'm thinking of the other way. If you BKB and then they use global silence,
that's why you have this. For you can BKB once,
so
silence, and you BKB again.
We can discuss scenarios where it could actually be pretty sick, but on the whole, it's just not going to be that good.
Yeah, it's basically a dispel that gives it's a dispel for strength heroes. If they have Skywrath Mage, this is great.
Does this always go on a strength right clicker? Just because that's when you're getting the damage aspect of it? Or?
I mean, they could be a POS 3 or 4 strength hero. And honestly, thinking about it now, the tier 4 items, not many of them are geared towards a strength position 3 or 4. So if you're a strength position 3 or 4, this item is probably one of the best in terms of you're going to get it. Do you know what I mean? All the other tier 4 items, you're never really given to a position 3 or 4 strength hero unless it's Doom and you're giving him one of those debuff or CDR ones. So in that sense, if you're that specific hero, you love it. But relative to all the other items and how much benefit your team could get from the other items, you don't really want to see this.
You probably love seeing it because the only other hero that's for strength hero is Havoc Hammer.
Yeah.
So you're like, relatively, give me this one. Yes, could you see it on, like, say, POS 4 Phoenix or something?
I was kind of thinking melee heroes getting in the mix, but...
Yeah, that's naturally what you'd think, but I suppose you could make it happen.
It'd be quite cool if you're a Tusk or a Baron, you charge in and you charge on the enemy support and you can pop this and they have that bit less time to react, and it's quite cool. Just man item.
You could slap on, like, a Timber Saw, because the purging debuffs is massive on Timber as well. A lot of slows and silences can really hurt him.
So it could work, but honestly, I feel like the 1 or 2 times I've had it in a game, and maybe I was some POS 1 hero that should not have had it, I've just felt, what am I doing with this item?
Does Clock's overclocking pierce spell immunity when he stuns himself?
Ooh, that's interesting.
It must do, because if it doesn't, then that's a sick combo. You use overclockers, and then just before it stuns you, you press Minotaur Horn.
That's nice. Plus it gives you strength.
Exactly. This is maybe the biggest brain thing that I've ever said.
We've broken the meta.
Yeah, this is truly a new meta. 1 year on, we've finally done it. Clock Minotaur Horn. But yeah, almost certainly pierces spell immunity, I would have thought. Can you use yourself at the end to not get stunned? That must work.
I don't think
you're invulnerable.
So. I don't think it would.
That sounds right. I feel like it'd go for BK. You think it wouldn't?
No, I don't think so.
I feel like it would. I feel like it'd be like a bash on yourself, knock yourself out.
That's one for the tester. We'll update next episode, I think. We'll come back next episode. So, Force Boots. No, I'm joking. Long ep, because that's, if there's 2 things that go together, it's tier whatever, neutral items, and us taking forever. But yeah, that's tier 4 neutral items, only tier 5 to go. Hopefully we'll get some more games where they're actually involved now that they're 60 minutes before we come on to these. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed listening, and see you again soon.